can do this. I can do this. It's going to be great. This Spider-Man review is going to be great. It's going to teach people some important things about why this is such a great trilogy, and it's going to be dank. I can't do this alone. I can't do this on my own. I need help with this. Now that's an idea. Today we're going to be doing a special review with Jack's channel of stuff. I've collaborated with him in the past, doing Rocky films, covering John Wick. Go over to his channel and check those out, as well as make sure to stay tuned. We're going to be reviewing all of the Spider-Man films from 1 to 5, leading up to the new Spider-Man Homecoming. Jack, thank you for suggesting that we do this. I always love collaborating with you. We're going to start with you. What did you think about it?
What's up, Patrick? Thanks very much for letting me be back on your channel today, and I'm really excited to talk about the Spider-Man films before Spider-Man Homecoming comes out. So the first Spider-Man film, this was like the very first superhero film that I ever watched, and because of that, all the cliches in this film, like the romance and the girl next door and the kid in high school, I kind of forgive all the cliches, because for me it was like the film that started them all. So rewatching this film for this video, I was actually surprised that I wasn't getting annoyed by the cliches or rolling my eyes at them, because it was like watching the master lay out the groundwork. I still like Spider-Man. The first half of the film was actually quite fast paced. I like how the film doesn't waste time getting to the origin story. Within the first 10 minutes of the film, he's already starting to become Spider-Man. And I really enjoyed seeing Peter Parker struggle with his new abilities, finding out what he can do, and then he's having the mishaps in high school, like the part where he webs the tray of lunch and flicks it into the back of Flash Gordon's head, and then the hallway fight with Flash Gordon where he's just dodging every single punch, and then he just punches him and he goes flying down the hallway and the teacher drops all his lunch on his face. But in terms of Peter Parker trying to find out about his abilities and testing himself, my favourite part of that, maybe even my favourite scene in the entire film, is the rooftop scene.
Go, Web! Fly! Up, up, and away, Web! Shazam! Go! Go! Go, Web, go!
I just laugh every single time. It's probably my favourite scene in the film, to be honest. This film does have quite a few iconic scenes, like the part where he's crawling up the wall for the first time, the upside down kiss in the rain, which has been parodied in many other films and TV shows. Also the part where he jumps and he dodges all those blades, that was really awesome. One thing that actually surprisingly affected me when watching this film was Uncle Ben's death, because before, when I watched it as a kid, I was like, you know, I didn't really appreciate emotion in films back when I was a kid. But rewatching this film today, when Uncle Ben dies, I was like, oh my god, that's actually quite rough. And I think part of that is Cliff Robertson as Uncle Ben. This man is just a very, very good human being. You cannot fault Uncle Ben at all. But speaking of casting, this film had two perfect castings. The first off being Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. I really like Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn, just the guy in the suit trying to stop his company from going bust or going bankrupt, but when he becomes the Green Goblin, that's what I'm talking about. Just the voice alone, the really menacing voice and that really menacing cackling laugh that he does, I couldn't really think of another person, at least in this time, that could have played the Green Goblin as well as Willem Dafoe. And I really like how they illustrated how Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin are pretty much two separate things, especially in the scenes where the Green Goblin is talking to Norman Osborn and you hear that cackling laugh from all the hallways and it's just echoing. That was actually kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. But the other perfect casting for this film was J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I'm not a comic book reader, so I'm not saying these are perfect castings per what the characters are in the comics. It's just for the films and the jobs that they did in the films. Willem Dafoe was perfect as Green Goblin in this film, and J.K. Simmons was beyond perfect as J. Jonah Jameson in this trilogy. J.K. Simmons is just really good at playing a very angry man, and he does that very well in this film, but he doesn't have a lot of screen time. I was quite surprised rewatching this film at how little he actually is in the film. I don't think Spider-Man fully holds up though. There are a lot of CGI shots in this film which they just really don't hold up, especially when Spider-Man's swinging around and jumping between some bad guys. You can just tell it's a CGI human being and it's not real. And this next one kind of applies to all three Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. It is quite cheesy. Some of the dialogue in here yeah, it's kind of hard to fully get invested into some of this dialogue. But overall, I still enjoy Spider-Man for what it is. For me, it's like the OG superhero film, and that's coming from someone who hasn't seen the original Supermans or Batmans, so this for me is like the original superhero movie. It's a fun origin story that's well acted, it doesn't hold up in a few areas, but it's still a good semi-nostalgic watch. I say that because I wasn't like fully into this film when I was younger. I watched it a few times, but it's not like a complete full-on nostalgia fest. I'm going to give Spider-Man a 3.5 out of 5. So that's my take on Spider-Man. Thanks once again to Patrick for letting me be back on the channel to talk about the Spider-Man films. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 2 on my channel and Spider-Man 3 back on your channel, pretty much like we did with the Rocky series, just back and forth in each other's channels. So Patrick, back to you.
Thank you, Jack, again. You're amazing. Everybody, go subscribe to his channel. I'm going to say it again. Subscribe. Go subscribe. Spider-Man is directed by Sam Raimi and stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, J.K. Simmons, Willem Dafoe. It was in production hell for 25 years, which is another video in itself, but just to kind of put into perspective how long it took for this movie to get made, and it finally did get made in 2002. This movie has some incredible moments of greatness and is golden standard for how you set up and build a superhero character. And that is a great testament to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I know a lot of people have differences of opinions with Spider-Man's character in these three movies, particularly how it's a little bit more Peter Parker and a lot less Spider-Man. You don't have the fun quips that you normally would have in the comics, or at least they're not sprinkled in as heavily as they are in the comics. But with this, they were trying to do something different. They were going in uncharted territories, and I think the casting Tobey Maguire was one of the best things that they did for this movie, because they were able to cast some amazing people that really emulated their characters. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin was an especially inspired casting. I love the scene where he's talking to himself in the mirror and basically going full Gollum in it. Albeit, I do think his suit was a bit cheesy. I think they could have gone a different route with the way that looked. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson is incredible. If anything, I wish they would just bring him back for Spider-Man Homecoming, even if it's just a cameo. I know he's Commissioner Gordon right now, but come on, he can be both. Would anybody really be upset if he was doing both? I love the way that they built on each of these characters' relationships with each other. They build such a strong foundation that does set up for a great sequel, which we'll be reviewing soon. The only casting decision which I think was a little bit misplaced was Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. To me, she just doesn't have very good acting chops in this film. I know she's able to act well, but in the Spider-Man trilogies, I mean, it's probably going to be a running complaint for me for these films. As well as the action and fighting sequences did seem a little bit too choreographed for my taste. It did sometimes feel like I was watching a live-action Power Rangers movie when they were fighting. Basically, I love this Spider-Man movie. It brings back so many great memories when I was a kid, first experiencing Spider-Man, because I did experience Spider-Man for the first time in this movie. I wasn't a big fan of the cartoons, and I didn't watch a lot because I was kind of a Batman kid. I wasn't into Spider-Man. There really wasn't anything that you could say makes this a bad film, except for one thing, and it's not even a part of the film, but it's worth mentioning. Of course, I'm not going to judge it based on that, because Nickelback is already going to be facing its judgment when they're burning in hell. Is that too much? That might have been too much. I'm going to give Spider-Man an 8 out of 10. So guys, tell me what you thought of Spider-Man. Whatever you thought, leave a comment down below. Jack, thank you again for collaborating with me, for doing this. Make sure to go over to his channel to check out the Spider-Man 2 review. Back over here for Spider-Man 3. It'll go back and forth until Spider-Man Homecoming. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you again as always for watching, and I will see you at the next review.